Hello everyone, Ryan here. So for this week's Music Monday, I decided to talk about a band called Korn. That's right, Korn, K-O-R-N. K-O-R-N. Now, Korn is one of those bands that has been categorized as new metal. I guess mostly because of the fact that when they started out, they incorporated a lot of hip-hop beats and also rap-style vocals and a few other snippets here and there of things like funk and jazz. But otherwise, when they started out, I mean, as far as the first album is concerned, the first album came out sometime in 1994, and it's just self-titled. I actually reviewed their first album. I believe I reviewed their, I want to say, first 3 albums a while ago. And if you want to check out those reviews, I'll provide links to them. So the first album, when it came out back in 94, I believe it took a while for people actually to catch on to what they were doing. And then eventually, you know, I think it was mostly because of the fact that they toured so much for the first album that pretty much, at least initially, helped out with getting the word out about who they were and all that. And, but as far as the first album is concerned, it definitely has much more of a metal element to it. I would even go so far as to say thrash metal, not completely thrash metal. You know, I know there's a lot of thrash metal fans out there saying, you know, Korn sucks and Korn's not thrash metal, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I get that. But, you know, you gotta admit, on the first album, they do have elements of thrash metal. I mean, especially at least when it comes to the guitar riffs. And so I mean, you know, Korn is comprised of, at least the original members are, I believe, I want to say Brian Welch is his name, aka Head. The other guy, Monkey, the other guitar player, David Silveri, I believe, was their original drummer. Unfortunately, he left the band. It's unclear to me, it's unclear as to whether or not he voluntarily left, or I guess he voluntarily left, wanted to come back, but they had already found a replacement drummer by then, so technically he was kicked out. Fieldy, their bass player, and then, of course, the singer, Jonathan Davis. I've always considered Jonathan Davis to be a pretty unique kind of rock singer. Because I mean, you know, when I first started listening to them, actually the first album I listened to was their album Follow the Leader. That was a very big album. I remember, a very popular album when I was in high school. And I mean, because I remember, like, not only was, because you had, like, the kids who were, for me, like, me and my friends, we listened to a lot of heavy metal, rock music, and so we were listening to Follow the Leader, but then also we ended up hanging out with, you know, other people who were more into, like, hip-hop and rap, and they were also listening to Follow the Leader, and so, you know, it ended up being, I think, for me, and at that time when I was in high school, I forget exactly what year this was. I want to say 98 or 99, around there, like almost 2000, but not quite 2000. So for me, this was like, I believe, pretty much the only time for me in which I hung out with people who weren't into heavy metal. It was like a big first time kind of thing for me. So I'll always remember that. And then also too, and not only that, but I guess I can admit it now. There's times when I ditched certain classes here and there, and I would go to like a friend's house, and we would just do nothing but just listen to music, really. Sometimes he would like leave somewhere, so then he would go off somewhere, I don't know, with his girlfriend or something, and so I would stay in his room and listen to his music. And he had a pretty cool stereo. I think it was like an old stereo that he got from his older brother, but it still sounded pretty good. It had really nice speakers, and so we would listen to music on it. And one of the albums I listened to the most on it was Follow the Leader by Korn. And so yeah, I guess it's one of those albums that I always associate a certain amount of pretty cool memories with. Even though I will say, like, I don't really like every single song on that album, but still, it's yeah, of course, I am aware that not everybody likes Korn, and in fact, I think the album that came out after Follow the Leader, which is titled Issues, I like that one too, but I didn't like it as much as Follow the Leader or their first album. For me, their first album has always been my favorite album, my favorite Korn album. And then after Issues, that's kind of when they started to change musical taste a little bit. And eventually it got to the point where I stopped listening to them altogether. You know, I mean, it's, you know, to the point to, like, I think their most recent album, I can't really get into it. I tried listening to it a couple times, and I really don't like the fact that Jonathan Davis now seems to be more into dubstep and a lot of electronic music. And I mean, I don't care, you know, I don't care, like, if he likes that music, if he likes listening to it, you know, in his own free time and all that, hey, that's cool. But I guess, you know, I don't like that they've already, like, done these different songs that incorporates a lot of, like, dubstep kind of synthesizer stuff. And I don't know, just for me, like, I don't like that. I don't like dubstep. You know, obviously I know it is popular. I know that all that electronic music is popular with a lot of people, but I don't like it. It's yeah, that's just how I am, you know. Different strokes for different folks. So, yeah, I mean, as far as, like, seeing them in concert, I think I saw them in concert twice, I believe. The first time was back, I want to say 2004, back in 2004. And it was actually a pretty good concert. I think it was, like, one of the last concerts they did before the guitar player Head, before he quit the band and then became, like, a born-again Christian, and he started, like, his own solo project, and he like ended up touring for a while, but, like, only played at, like, Christian venues or something. Of course, he eventually, like, rejoined Korn, and but yeah, I mean, as far as the first time I saw them in concert, it was definitely a pretty awesome show. I mean, I like that there was one part when, in between songs, the other guitar player, Monkey, he played, like, a pretty cool guitar solo. It wasn't anything, like, really too intricate, but, you know, for me, it showed that he actually knows what he's doing. He knows his stuff, so yeah. Though I will admit, I mean, I know that for the longest time, pretty much, I mean, at least when Korn first started, they're not really like technical players. Like, it was more like they cared more about creating like really intense kind of grooves, like music that, at least in the beginning, I feel like they care more about just creating music that grooves rather than music that rocks, like music that people can just like groove to, like move along to, not really like headbang to so much, but you know, though I mean that was still, the headbanging aspect was still a part of the overall sound, and I guess still is today, but that was never really their main focus, I guess. So, and also I think they've never really considered themselves to be like just a straight up heavy metal band. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know what else to say about them. I do plan on doing more Korn album reviews, because I think, again, so far I've only reviewed their first 3 albums, and yeah, I gotta get around to doing that. So yeah, that'll do it for this. I just wanted to briefly talk about Korn, and you know, they're one of those bands. Well, I wouldn't say like I consider them to be one of, you know, the best bands out there. They're still pretty cool, and I think they're pretty cool. They're one of those bands I listened to a lot growing up when I was a teenager. So yeah, I figured I should at least mention that. So thanks for watching this. That'll do it. Yeah. As always, next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.